Hey there. Today we're going to talk about Coleman white gas lanterns. So maybe you got a Coleman white gas lantern, whether you inherited it or you picked it up at a yard sale or on Craigslist or OfferUp. You probably want to know more about it. So let's talk about them. First things first, how old is your new lantern? Well, all lanterns and stoves made in about the last century have date codes on the bottom. So right here it says 664. So this one was made in June of 1964. This one was made in January of 1956. So they're both vintage lanterns, but they still work great. These ones are in good shape, but frankly, you could find a lantern in just about any condition, and with just a few minor tweaks, get it back up and running, back into service in your own campsite. So let's talk about that. There's a couple of things when you first come up on a lantern to check. And the very first thing is this is the gas cap. And right under the gas cap, this one was pumped up already, so that's why you're hearing gas escape. Uh, right under the gas cap is a small rubber gasket. Now, that gasket is the very first thing to go out on these things because, frankly, they're decades old and the rubber just dries out and cracks, and it's letting that pressure out. So that's the first thing to change. Now you can find those on eBay or on one of the Coleman collectors forums. There's guys out there who have already done all the research for you to find them. So you can just go ahead and order one from there, or I ordered several of them because once I got one lantern running, I started buying more. So yeah, you can just order one off of there, and then there are a couple different types of caps. This one is a three-part cap. So if you remove this screw, the inside comes out. And then I actually get the easiest way to get rid of that old rubber gasket is with a blowtorch. So you can get a propane blowtorch attachment for your little 1 pound propane tanks, and you can blow it right out. And make sure you let it cool before you touch it. I've seen that go wrong so many times. So you replace that gasket. Then the next thing that you're going to want to check on is this. This is the plunger. This is how you build pressure within the tank. Now, inside of this plunger is a leather cup. Now, this one has a retaining pin here, and it's a little tough to get off on this one, so I'm just going to gently pull that. There we go. There that is. On this one here to the right, my right, it has two retaining screws that go into the same little holes there. So you just pull those out, and then once that comes out, there we go. So this is a leather cup that is the plunger, or on the plunger, and they still sell this piece new. You can still order it if you need to replace it, but honestly, in the, I don't know, 15 to 20 lanterns that I have refurbished, I have not had to replace any of them. You just take some oil, 3-in-1 oil is what I use, or a gun lubricating oil also works. It'll be a lightweight oil, which is what you're looking for. You don't want to use olive oil unless you're stuck out in the woods and got to get your lantern lit. So yeah, I just put some 3-in-1 oil on there, or take a paper towel and get it real good and saturated with that 3-in-1 oil, and work it into the leather. And once that leather is nice and saturated with oil, you're just going to stick it right back in. So once it's full of oil, it's going to be a little swollen, so you may have to use your fingertips to just kind of gently guide it back in there. And there you go. Now you're all set. So I'm going to take this little retaining pin and I'm going to put it right back on there. Let's see here. So you just line up those holes. And there we go. I'll take my little pliers, which I know is against the law in some collectors' situations, but these are my user lanterns. So couple of things. You got your gas cap, you got your plunger. Here you've got your fuel valve, and on the back here, you got your choke. So you're also going to want to twist this choke valve several times. That's going to be moving in and out inside, and it'll clear any buildup or carbon that might be in there. And in most cases, that's enough to get you started. You're going to want to probably replace the mantle inside. These are both tie-on mantles, which you can still buy new. And as you can see, this one has one mantle, and this one has two mantles, but they're both very bright. And the charm of the one mantle lantern is really something special. But I actually take this one out the most often because this was my first lantern, so it holds a special place in my heart. So, next thing, it's time to fill the fuel tank. So you'll take that off, get yourself some Coleman fuel or white gas. White gas is essentially super distilled gasoline, so that's what it smells like, but it burns cleaner. So you stick that in there. I actually already filled this one, so I'm not going to fill it again, but suggested that you only fill it about halfway and leave the air in there to help it easier to build pressure, and it burns better. All right, so I'm going to put this back on, and now we're going to pressurize the gas tank. So you twist the plunger to the left, stick your thumb over the hole, and you pump. That's right. It usually takes 30 to 35 pumps for me. So now we're going to follow the instructions here on the gas, on the fuel knob here. And it says open a quarter turn to left and light. After mantle burns bright, open as far as possible. So we're going to do just that. So let's make sure that the choke is in the up position, which is the closed position. And then we're going to turn that 1/4 to the left. Get my lighter. We're going to turn this down to the open position, and immediately I start hearing that fuel coming through there, and there we go. There we go. So now it's burning bright. We'll open this up the rest of the way. And as you can see, that mantle will fill up. And there you have it. That'll give you hours of light and hours of enjoyment around the campfire.